another episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook and app. Deke, not only is it safe, but it is secure, and most importantly, baby, it is reliable. And for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code MOATS, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, tell these people to stop wasting time. Like,
the time is now. It really is. It's the most valuable thing we have. Exactly.
So stop wasting it. Download the app, use the promo code, and get an opportunity to make a little money. They said that they feel their franchise quarterback is in-house. And they didn't specify whether that was Jameis or Taysom, but they definitely said it's in-house. And they do say that they want Winston back. They did say that.
I know, that's what I mean. They've been sending mixed messages with this from starting Taysom.
Correct.
These few games where Breeze has been out. That kind of goes to show, all right, maybe he's our franchise guy going forward. But then you saying we want Jameis back, that's almost saying like, hey, you got a chance to start next year.
When I looked at it again, I thought like how you did initially, but I changed it, and I think that they are on par with what they did. The move to have Taysom Hill start, it wasn't necessarily saying that Taysom Hill was better. Taysom Hill just gave him the best chance to win because what? Taysom Hill's been in that offense for multiple years.
For this season.
Right. Jameis this year, think about Jameis this year. No preseason, condensed training camp where his reps were limited because you still had to get Drew Brees his reps and Taysom Hill his reps. So if you were going to throw him out there, does he give you the best chance to win over Taysom Hill? It was kind of like the Mike Vick versus Landry Jones argument here in Pittsburgh. Landry more familiar, can run the full offense. Vick more talented. So it's like, which one do you want to go with? But during the season, that talent really doesn't matter if you don't understand the full gamut of the offense. So that's how when I looked at the decision to go Taysom Hill over Jameis, I looked at it from that angle of, man, they understand that we're trying to win. They were in win now mode. So you go Taysom because he's going to help you keep the offense going. Granted, it's going to be limited, which it was, but he can do enough to keep you rolling. And now, when the offseason hits, now you can really decide, okay, well, number one, Jameis, your number is going to be a lot lower than if you did go out there and play. So the business side, trust me, it's always a business angle. So now your number is low.
So potentially you get a franchise guy for 2 or 3 years at a discount.
So I'm going to get you cheap. Because remember, I took a chance on you. It wasn't like you had all these other offers out here. I took a chance on you.
A chance, though.
So,
$1 million.
Right. But it worked out, though, right? Because you got playoff experience. You got a chance to come here and throw a nice pass. But you got familiarity in the system, right? So now, full off season, this is your team. Breeze retires. You're the guy. Or, for conversation purposes, we'll have an open competition between you and Taysom Hill.
What's the contract, you think? 10 mil?
Tops. You don't have to give him more than that.
Okay.
What has he done since Tampa to make you feel like his market has increased? Because I don't think he did enough. I think
you don't think he can get 6 or 7 in the open market?
I'm just simply saying, like, do you think his market is going to drastically increase now based off what we saw this year compared to him coming from Tampa? I don't think we saw enough from him to make it that big of an increase from a money standpoint. So that's why I don't think it's going to be too much further than what he was already getting offered from last year.
Okay.
So I think his number is still going to be fairly low, surprisingly to a lot of us, but solely because of the lack of opportunities. Now, a team might say, you know what, we're willing to overpay. We'll take a chance. But depending on draft position and other things, you got options. Because if you're Jacksonville, you would say Jacksonville, but it's like
quarterback class
they could go Trevor Lawrence. People are flirting with Justin Fields. We already talked Trey Lance. It's shaping up to be at least a good quarterback group. We don't know, obviously, because we've said this before and with quarterback groups.
They said last year was a bad one, no?
Right.
Yeah, because they weren't considering Burrow like this grade A prospect.
Right.
Herbert, a lot of question marks. Tua injury.
So you just never know, but on paper, it's looking like it's supposed to be a good class. So that's also going to factor into Jameis Winston and his market. If I got a chance to potentially draft a younger guy, start fresh, no baggage, I'd rather do that than paying for a guy that has had success, but at the same time has had some bad performances, and that doesn't even talk about the off-field stuff that he's dealt with throughout his career as well. So to me, that's why I think his number is going to be really, low compared to what we would think it should be for him.
But that's probably really good for the Saints.
Oh, it's great for the Saints. Absolutely.
I have a feeling just based off what Peyton has said and kind of what we're feeling is they would be good with him going for the next 2 or 3 years.
I think they would.
Taking the chance.
And he's already familiar with the division. We already talked about that. He can throw. He can play quarterback. The biggest knock on Jameis is not accuracy. It's not big
Well, he did
arm.
get that LASIK last year, right?
That is, But that's what they said, get him to 30 for 30, right? Or something like that. No,
I think
after the
it was
season.
afterwards.
It was after the season. So, maybe that helped out. Or maybe it made it worse. You never know. Some guys I realized, like, hey, you take your context out. You play better without seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the feel thing.
Right. So to me, I'm just like, man, if you're the Saints, you got Taysom Hill under contract for the next, 2 years. So you're good there. You're going to get Jameis on a steal. You get him on a steal. Jameis already familiar with the division, has already had success. Like I said, his issue was never arm talent. It's more so arrogance at times in terms of where he tries to put the ball at. Man, double coverage, trying to force it. We talked about the conversation even with Ben at times when we just break down like why his numbers from a turnover standpoint are bad at some times. Not ability, more so just arrogance in terms of thinking that, hey, even though it's triple coverage or double coverage, I can make this throw 2 times out of 10 times. But because he made it the one time, he wants to keep making that throw. And ultimately, that's how the interception numbers get gaudy for Jameis. As long as he can get that part of his game out of it, I think that, man, he can still be a really good quarterback. You don't throw for 5,030 touchdowns being a bad quarterback in the NFL. You just don't. So that's why for me, I'm like, if you're the Saints, you got that guy already in-house. I think you use him as your guy and you still factor in.
Still young, too.
Yes.
26,
absolutely.
maybe. 27, I don't know.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at like, man, you use him. You still factor in the Taysom Hill element of it. I think that he gives you some things, element of surprise. But
I wonder if he'll try to move out, though, if they don't name him the franchise guy.
And he could try, but
I don't know what his market is, though. I don't think anyone's thinking that way about him.
Because the only people that have ever said franchise quarterback have been Sean Payton. Nobody else looks at him that way. So they even paid him in that vicinity, not franchise quarterback money, but they paid him a lot more than his actual position. They paid the player itself, not the position. So with Taysom, it's like you could play the hardball approach of, all right, if you don't let me be the franchise guy at quarterback, I'm leaving. Good luck. Who's picking up that contract for a gadget guy?
I'm not.
I'm not either, right? Nah, I'm cool on that. So I just don't think that his market is going to be that. So yeah, I think you roll with it, man. I think you roll with Jameis, you use Taysom, and you ultimately, man, Mike Thomas. That's the guy that you got to roll with, man. Michael Thomas has to be.
Oh, he's got the contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you just feed the offense through him like you already do. I think it opens up a lot more, though.
And they just gave Kamara
he got extended this offseason. I think you draft. If I'm them, I'm trying to get me another receiver that could take the top off the defense. I feel like that's the one part that they want a little bit more consistently. You get that, and you're good to go, man.
Yeah.